Thank you for joining us. I'm here with Rob from Vend Advisors again. And Rob and I have been, spending quite a bit of the morning here talking about selling a business and how complex it can be, and the fact that 20% of businesses just can't sell for various reasons. And there's just a lot to process, pretty complicated and all. I guess, though, the biggest question when you're going to sell your business is, how much should I sell it for? I mean, because obviously somebody's got to be looking at it going, that's worth it. That's how capitalism works. So what types of things do you need even before you put your business up for sale?
This kind of elaborates on our previous one we did. It was kind of on the process and the process involved in terms of selling and the steps. So this is kind of really elaborate really on that first step. Yeah. It's really going to be, it's a matter of really being open and transparent, but it's really kind of the financial review. It's looking at probably 3 years plus a current year status of where we're at from the standpoint of the financials in terms of income statement and profit and loss, the balance sheet, maybe even a cash flow report from the standpoint of going through, seeing the trends, seeing how the business is understand how the business is operated, both financially as well as in operation, and from that standpoint, we kind of develop a value.
And that's pretty important, and even developing the values, and you're also kind of developing the story and the argument or what you're going to be presenting to the seller as well, too, or to the buyer.
Yes, correct, exactly. A lot of that's going to glean out of there from the standpoint of the bio of the business to present to that buyer, and then there will be, as we go along, there'll be additional information we like to have early on too that it's extremely helpful from the standpoint of if the property is leased, we'd like copy of the lease to be able to review. To know what needs to happen there for a new buyer. Can they just transfer that lease, just be able to be assigned to a new buyer, or are they going to have to negotiate a new lease with the landlord when we get to that point? If there's any equipment, from that standpoint, having an equipment list and the value of that equipment is extremely important from the standpoint of developing a value for the business. For those business owners that own their property, for the most part, probably want to keep the property separate. And you look at it really somewhat twofold, a little bit from the business versus and the property from that standpoint separately. And then there's just a lot of other data that's helpful from that standpoint. Average sales per customer, or the concentration. For example, your largest customer, what is their overall percentage of overall revenue?
Sure, I'd want to know that as a buyer, because if that guy leaves, what's going to happen.
Exactly, and even the top 10 customers, and what are the top 10 customers from an overall standpoint, from a sales and revenue standpoint. Just be able to look at average sales or average sale per transaction that you're doing a product or service.
So you get down pretty granular into what you're looking at.
I think we can absolutely. We can get as deep and granular as need be.
Well, how long does a process like this tend to take? In other words, somebody's watching this and they're thinking, I may be getting ready to sell. How long, realistically, before they actually put out that for sale sign, in terms of going through this process and doing the due diligence, how far out ahead should they start doing this before they're really ready to hit the market with their business?
I'd say really between 15 and 30 days we can have this part accomplished and be ready to go.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yep.
Well, hey, so if you're thinking of selling, your first good step may be calling Rob here. And as I was talking, we were talking about some of the other subjects we've been talking about this morning regarding selling. You may want to check out those videos too. A lot of good information there. They're on the website at vendadvisors.biz. If you're not already there, get there, check it out. And Rob, your contact information is there and ready to go?
Everything's there. Yeah, the phone number is 440-590-5298. My and the email address is on there to directly contact as well. So thanks.
Great.